I'm pleased to be joined by Texas Longhorns head coach Steve Sarkisian. Coach, how you doing?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate you taking time to join us here. Coach, I want to start with this. I think you were a missed field goal away from beating Alabama, if not an injury to your starting quarterback away from beating Alabama. You're headed there to Tuscaloosa. You're going back to a place that I'd like to think of as a home for you. How excited are you to bring your team to Tuscaloosa?
Well, it's a great opportunity. I've stated this before and I'll state it again. I've got a great deal of respect for that program. I've got a great deal of respect for Coach Saban. I know that organization and how well prepared they are week in and week out. I know the job that he does and what he instills in those kids and the quality of players that they have on that team. So we know it's a great challenge. Not a lot of people go into Bryant-Denny Stadium and beat Alabama. So it's a heck of a challenge. But I know our guys will be up for it. Like I said, I thought we played well last year. Unfortunately, we didn't come out on top, and so we'll put our best foot forward this year and see how far we can take it.
Being picked to win the Big 12 conference is not something we see regularly from Texas. And frankly, I've been loud about it all summer. It's the most talented roster in the league. It's one of the most talented rosters in all the sport. What are you doing to try to make sure that talent reaches its potential in 2023?
Well, I think the couple things with the expectations. I think one, that's why you come to Texas, right? Is you want to put yourself on the biggest stage. You want to try to field a team that is competitive week in and week out, regardless of the opponent, regardless of the conference. But inevitably, expectations are just that. We're going to be defined by the way that we play. And what we put on the field, week in and week out. And so we've got to prepare really well. We got to prepare really well physically. We have to prepare really well mentally. We have to prepare for the ups and downs of a season, for the adversity of a season, for the adversity that you face in game. And so those are the things that we're working on. Expectations are just that. The reality of it is, come December, that's what we'll be defined by the way we play.
I know that the offense gets a lot of noise because you're the head coach and you got a great player in Quinn Ewers, but I got to point it out, Coach, you got Quinn over there, right? You got Xavier Worthy over there. I'm looking and I'm going, it doesn't feel like you're going to miss Bijan Robinson. I know I'm probably wrong here, but you also got a really stout backfield. Do you feel like you got a weakness? Do you feel like you have something you have to shore up on that offensive side of the ball?
Well, I think ultimately for us on offense is playing with consistency. We came out of last year and we always try to self-evaluate. And I felt like at times we were a little bit of a one-dimensional team. We ran the ball extremely well. Bijan, Roshan, they were tremendous players for us. So you try to shore up some things. You try to mature. Obviously, we're returning 5 starting offensive linemen. 2 of those were true freshmen a year ago. And those guys now are a year older. They've been in the system. Quinn is going into year 2 in the system. I think his comfort level is at definitely new heights. I think we've balanced out the receiving core. Obviously, we have Xavier Worthy, Jordan Whittington coming back, but with some of the additions, the A.D. Mitchells, we get Isaiah Nair back. We recruited well, and then J.T. Sanders really emerged last year. So hopefully we can continue to build on that and use that experience that we have with the influx of some of the new players to where we are a balanced offense. And I agree with you too, RJ. I do think our backfield, we've got really good players back there, whether it's a Jonathan Brooks, Jaden Blue, Keelan Robinson, the addition of a Cedric Baxter. But ultimately, somebody's going to have to, pardon my analogy, take the bull by the horns and become that lead guy. And that's what training camp's for.
My goodness, when I hear him, you named him like that, I'm just kind of floored because I know that's a dude, that's a dude, that's a dude. They're all dudes. But the guy behind center, Quinn Ewers, he said something I really locked in on, which is, I'm getting a PhD in quarterback play from Coach Sarkisian. What does that mean? Translate that for me, because I understand it means very smart. However, for him, going from year 1 to year 2, where he was essentially a true freshman playing quarterback, what does that look like on the field?
Well, I think one thing for us that's important of note, we run an NFL system, and everything we do now is the same stuff I was running with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and Mohamed and Sanu in Atlanta for 2 years. And so the reality of it is there's a lot of nuances to what we do. And it's one thing just to run plays. It's another to know the intricacies of those plays and to how they fit against specific defenses and anticipating where that ball should go. And I think naturally, if you put in the time like Quinn is doing right now, you see the steps that get made when you go into year 2 in our system. And he wasn't fortunate enough to take a year to watch somebody else run what we do. He kind of got thrown into the fire. And there were some ups and there were some downs. But to his credit, I think we learned a lot about his resolve. I think we learned a lot about his leadership, his willingness to stand there in the fire. Inevitably, I think that's somebody that our players want to rally behind. But also, I think in his mind, man, when I get this system down, which is where he's at now, we've got a chance to do something really special offensively, and he's done that. He's put in a lot of work, and I'm very proud of what he's been able to do to put himself in this position.
Defensively, I don't think you can do better than asking a guy like Jalen Ford to lead your unit, but he emerged in a huge way for me last year. I knew he was a good player. He turned out to be a great player in 2022. What are you looking for from him and the rest of that unit as you go into 2023?
Yeah, I was proud of those guys. I was proud of our defensive staff. I was proud of the players for the leaps and bounds they made from year 1 to year 2. We played a more consistent brand of football. I thought we played aggressive. We played tough. We affected the other team's quarterback. Naturally, in the game of football, we've got to continue to find ways to create turnovers. And so that's been a big point of emphasis of ours. We've got to continue to find a way not to just get 3rd down stops, but 4th down stops. That's another area for improvement for us. But Jalen Ford is definitely our catalyst. He's a leader. Anytime you have a guy coming back with the type of production that he had, the leadership that he has, the way he represents the University of Texas, that's a great starting point. But he's surrounded by a bunch of really good players. He's surrounded by a coaching staff on our defensive side of the ball that's been the same now for 3 straight years. So there's great continuity there as well. So we're excited about how far these guys can take it. And if we can continue that incremental growth that we saw from year 1 to year 2, and then do that from year 2 to year 3, I think they're poised for a great season.
One of the things you said earlier is about the expectations and why you come to the University of Texas to play football. And I want to key in on that for you personally, because it feels like this is a tremendously important year. Your last year in the Big 12, you're headed to a new conference in the SEC. I think it's the best football conference in the country. And you also have to deal with, another 5-star quarterback that's waiting in the wings in one Arch Manning. How are you coping with all of these different ways in which you, the head coach at the University of Texas, are being pulled?
Man, I love it. I love every day, and you kind of made me light up with that, because what an awesome opportunity. I wake up every morning. I'm the head coach at the University of Texas. I'm humbled. I'm honored. I think about Mac Brown. I think about Darrell Royal. I think about national championships. I think about Heisman Trophy winners. I think about the great players. And I think that what we're doing right now, what we're building, it's been a process, no question about that. But I think we are in position to go and do great things. And I think our players recognize it. Our staff recognize it. I haven't been shy to say, I feel like this team's on a mission. They've been laser focused on what they want to go accomplish this year, which is win a Big 12 championship. We've got to go do that on the field come the fall. But we've been doing the necessary things, and our players deserve a lot of credit for that, because they have committed themselves to this process better than we have even the previous 2 years. And I think that's why they feel very comfortable and confident as well that we can go accomplish our goal, which is try to go win a championship this fall.
Coach Sark, I appreciate you taking time to join us here on the #1 college football show, and good luck in 2023, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
I'm pleased to be joined by Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers. Quinn, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good, sir. I'm excited to talk with you. I want to get started this way. How excited are you to get another bite at Alabama this year in Tuscaloosa after how you played against them last year?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a great atmosphere, playing in Tuscaloosa. I was recruited by Coach Sark up there, so I was able to to go up there as a recruit, and I kind of saw the atmosphere and kind of what it's like, and I couldn't be more excited to go up there and play those guys again. Like I said, it's going to be so much fun, a great environment. I know this team's fired up about it, but at the end of the day, we just want to go 1-0. So we're starting with Rice, and then obviously we're humans. It's human nature to kind of think past, or not think past, but see who we have next after the Rice Owls. But yeah, we're fired up. We're ready to roll.
Well, I mean, hey, look, since we're going to talk about Rice for just a second, number one, that game's on Fox, so I'm going to be watching it. Number two, do you think you're going to get towed this year?
Man, I sure hope not. I figured out, that parking lot's for the suite holders, so it's probably good I don't park in there anymore. How about that? That was a pretty fun occurrence.
Well, I asked because I did not expect to see that the starting quarterback for University of Texas gets his truck towed. On the other hand, though, it is kind of a marker in how big an atmosphere you and that Longhorn program have created. A lot of people are invested. You're picked to finish first in the Big 12, and frankly, I think y'all are the most talented roster in this league. Saying you want to go 1-1 is one thing, but when you look across the board at what you got on offense, you got to feel excited about it, yeah?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we're all fired up. I got all 5 starters at O-line coming back, which I couldn't be more happy about. Those guys just growing together. It's awesome to see that. I mean, the way this team has grown throughout this offseason has just been, really fun to kind of see. Sometimes I kind of sit back and kind of just see what's going on with them, and it's so cool to see. Even the receiver room, obviously we got a good ad with A.D. Mitchell and with some younger guys coming in, and we hired a new coach at that position, which has been great. He comes from the NFL, so those guys are really buying in on what he's installing in those young guys, and even the older guys like Jordan Whittington. But like I said, the way this team has grown, it's been really cool to see.
It sounds like what you really want to do is get out there and play some football. And I'm curious to see how you have progressed and how much more comfortable and slowed down and just taking it all in that you are, because it feels like this year could be a lot of fun for you, given you got 1 year in the system, you understand what Coach Sark wants from you, and you know who you're throwing to. Yeah,
100%. I mean, throughout this spring, starting in the winter, through the winter, the spring, and this past summer, my comfort level has gone through the roof. I'm a whole lot more confident in the offense. Everything is slowing down. Last year about this time during our PRPs, I mean, I'm stepping up to the line or whatever, like, God, what's the play again? Like, I just had so much going on, and then I didn't have time to, look at the front and then see what the defense is running. I'm just kind of playing off instinct throughout fall camp and whatnot. But like you said, I'm just so much more comfortable. I have time to kind of, see what the defense is doing, communicate to the O-line, communicate to the receivers, tell the running back, hey, remind him what he's got, and then see the play clock, and then I'm ready to snap the ball. I mean, the year 2 so far has been a big jump for me.
One of the things that you had said that I'd seen written was you felt like you were getting a PhD in quarterback play from Coach Sarkisian. Can you elaborate on what you mean when you say that?
Yeah, obviously he played the position that I played at a high level over at BYU, so he knows what it looks like. He's been there, he's done that. He's won some big games, and obviously he's won a national championship over at Alabama. So having him as kind of that guy to lean on and kind of have as a coach in that quarterback room with us. I mean, he has the answers. He has the answers to the test. And having a guy like that who's produced the quarterbacks that he's produced, obviously that's not a coincidence at all. He's one of the best guys to lean on, and quarterback wise, in the nation for sure.
You also get to share those notes with a couple of really talented guys in that quarterback room, one being Malik Murphy, the other being Arch Manning. What has the camaraderie been like in the quarterback room?
Yeah, it's really cool to see the way that we interact as a quarterback room, just because how close we are together. I mean, nobody in that room is trying to find ways around the other. I mean, we're all working towards a common goal together. But obviously only one quarterback can play, which is why it's one of the most important positions in all of sports. But like I said, those are like my best friends in that room. We have a blast together. We do quarterback dinners together. We have so much fun together. Just, not even in the quarterback room, like outside the quarterback room, which is rare, and it's cool to see, a group of guys like that when we're all competing against each other.
How excited are you to finish this era of Texas football in the Big 12 and, frankly, to begin a new one in the SEC in 2024?
Yeah, this is our last year in the Big 12. I think our university has made great decisions. Obviously, for most of the guys who started here in the Big 12, I know it's going to be maybe a little tough leaving, but at the end of the day, we trust our administration and what they do, and we couldn't be more excited for what we're doing. But at the end of the day, we're really focused on this last year in the Big 12. Not really looking past that as a locker room for sure.
I realized last year you had Bijan Robinson and Roschon Johnson in the backfield. One of those guys, having been a former quarterback even at Texas, probably helped your confidence, especially in year one. But now you got a really talented backfield, but you're looking for somebody to take over that as that lead dog. What have you seen from those running backs in that room that gives you some hope for the future?
Yeah, obviously they know what, Bijan and Roschon, what they did to be the players that they were. And like you said, that's such a talented room. We always have depth at running back, which is amazing. I mean, all those guys are great pass catchers and great running backs. They have great vision. And I'm excited. I think they're all going to be very useful for this team. We have a lot of depth. I mean, we added, Savion Red to that mix. He moved from receiver to running back, and we got Cedric Baxter in the backfield as well. Keelan Robinson, Jaden Blue, Jordan Brooks. I mean, all those guys are very capable of playing.
Texas being picked to finish atop the Big 12 is not a common occurrence. I mentioned over and over again how talented you guys are from a roster standpoint. How is that pressure being felt at the University of Texas football program?
Yeah, obviously that's great that people see our talent, but it's a whole lot more than talent, because there's been a whole bunch of talented teams at the University of Texas that haven't really panned out to what they're supposed to be. So we're really trying to connect and just stabilize our culture and what we believe in, and we have a lot of small sayings that kind of make us stand together, and I couldn't be more proud of the way that our team is kind of approaching this whole ideal of this season, but we really trying to focus on the opinions inside our building. We try to kind of stay out of the outside voices that kind of leak through. But obviously, like I said, we're humans. We have social media. We hear what's going on. But there's also people saying that, maybe we shouldn't, be in the mix for all this stuff. So, it goes both ways. So we really just need to focus on our opinions inside the facility.
My last one for you, Quinn. You told me that there are a lot of little phrases and sayings that you have inside of that room that seem to buoy you all. Can you give me one of those and tell me why it's important to you?
Yeah, I'll give you one. We came up with this one as kind of like a leadership council. It was Jordan Whittington who actually kind of brought it up. It's the wall is blue. It could be white or green or anything, but at that point in time, everyone on the team, the wall is blue. But you can think it otherwise, but at that time, you got to trust what he says, and you got to, because we're all working towards a common goal. If everyone works towards that common goal, it usually works out.
I do. Belief in one another and belief in your leaders. Quinn Ewers, thank you so much for joining us here on the #1 college football show. Good luck in 2023, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching the #1 college football show. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and like this video so that you don't miss any of the best college football coverage in America.